Hello, good morning. How are you? See, I'm in nature today because we're gonna deal with flowers. हम बाहर पार्क में देखते हैं there are so many flowers. Some are yellow, some are pink, some are black. Because these flowers add beauty to our nature and have a soothing effect. Flowers का एक effect नहीं होता. Flowers हमें marriages में हम use करते हैं. If somebody is ill in the hospital, we give them flowers in the hospital because these add peace to our mind. If our mind is upset, we are very distressed, we are stressful, then doctors even prescribe us to go in the nature. So this is the flowers. ये flowers कोई आज से originate नहीं हुए. They about dated back to 180 million years ago. Even Victorian era में during flowers were used to represent their messages. Some messages जो loud नहीं बोले जा सकते थे, उन messages को they explained with the help of flowers. अगर they gave the flower with the right hand, then the message said yes, and if the flower was given with the left hand, then the message was no. These अब जिस तरह we people have languages, इस तरह flowers also have languages, and the language of flowers is called as florography. Now even different color, जैसे white flower जो है वो क्या peace को represent करता है, red flower लव को रिप्रेजेंट करता है. अभी अभी वैलेंटाइंस डे गया, यू मस्ट हैव डेफिनेटली गिवन फ्लावर्स टू योर नियर एंड डियर वंस हु यू लव. इसी तरह डिफरेंट फ्लावर्स हैं. Now coming back to our topic of biology, I have seen what I have this hibiscus flower. Now first we'll talk about the parts of the flower. There are four main parts of the flower: the calyx, the corolla, the androecium and the gynoecium. What is calyx? Calyx are these sepals which protect the flower during the bud stage. When the flower is in the bud stage, they protect it. Corolla are these colorful petals. Now what is it? I told you the purpose of calyx. It is to protect the flower during the bud stage. Now this is corolla, the colorful petals. We've seen some flowers are yellow, some are pink, some are red, some are blue, some are black. There are n number of flowers. Even there are multicolored flowers even. Now these petals help in pollination, attracting the pollinators. Now what is pollination? We know the pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. Now what is anther? Anther is the male part and stigma is the female part. Before coming to this, I'll tell you that we know this universe. If there is no reproduction in the universe, then the species will come to an end. In order to species to continue their existence, reproduction is very important. For the flowering plants, the reproduction, this pollination is important because reproduction is the fusion of male and the female gametes. For this, the male and female gametes have to come in contact. Now these pollinators, there are certain natural pollinators and certain other organisms. Natural pollinators are wind, water, which are not in our control. वो natural things हैं. How can we control them? It is in God's control. The next pollinators are the different bees, different insects, different birds जो pollination में help करते हैं. अब वो कैसे help करते हैं pollination में? वो pollen grains को transfer करते हैं anther से stigma तक. अब stigma के जाके what happens to the pollen grains? These pollen grains, जब stigma is a sticky part, वहाँ पे ऐड करते हैं, इट फॉर्म्स अ पॉलन ट्यूब. इस पॉलन ट्यूब से दे गो इनसाइड द ओवरी, वहाँ जाके वो एग के साथ फ्यूज करते हैं एंड दे फॉर्म द जाइगोट एंड हेंस द रिप्रोडक्शन टेक्स प्लेस. नाउ कमिंग बैक टू द फ्लावर, आई टोल्ड यू कैलिक्स, इट इज द सेपल्स जो इसको सराउंड करती हैं. डाइसेक्टिंग देम आई विल शो यू द कैलिक्स. Now see, this is the calyx, that is the sepals जो flower को protect करते हैं during the bud stage. Now second, I told you about the corolla. These are the colored petals जो अपने color और अपनी fragrance से they attract the pollinators. Now carefully taking out them, the petals, that is the corolla. There are 5 corollas here. Now left is this part which has the male and the female reproductive part. Why? Because this flower is bisexual. Bisexual flowers वो होते हैं which have both the male and the female part एक ही flower में होते हैं. और कई ऐसे flowers भी होते हैं जो मोनोसेक्सुअल होते हैं, जो सिर्फ फीमेल होते हैं या सिर्फ मेल होते हैं. Now this is the anther bearing the pollen grains. When I'll dissect this lower part, okay, see what I have got. On dissecting, I got this. Now what is this? This is the stigma. See, I'll separate it. So you will get this stigma. When you see very clearly, the stigma is the red portion, which is a thicker one. It is the female receptive part where the pollen grains come and stick. And here this is the style. Accidentally I have broken the ovary which was underneath. I'll just show you the ovary also. This is the ovary, the yellow part, which is the swollen bulb. Why it is a swollen bulb? Because it has ovule inside it. And these are the male. So this is a bisexual flower which is having the male and the female part within the same. Now, when I've talked about pollination, I'll tell you there are two types of pollination. One is self-pollination and one is cross-pollination. When the pollen grains of the same flower falls on the stigma of the same flower, it is called as self-pollination. एक ही जगह. And when it falls on the other flowers, it is called as cross-pollination. Okay, now this is, hope I made the topic of parts of the flower clear. Now coming back to nature. अब हमने बहुत सारे फ्लावर्स देखे हैं. कोई लोटस है, कोई सनफ्लावर है, कोई रोज़ है, कोई लैवेंडर है. अब ये जो लोटस है इसकी अपनी क्वालिटी है. लोटस इज इन मड, यू नो इट्स इन अ स्टिकी मड. डे में इट कम्स आउट और जैसे ही रात होती है, नाइट होती है, इट गोज बैक इन टू द सॉइल. सी द ब्यूटी ऑफ नेचर, व्हाट गॉड हैज़ मेड. अब इसकी भी एक सिग्निफिकेंस है. पीपल बिलीव दैट दिस लोटस सिग्निफाइज रीबर्थ, सेल्फ जनरेशंस, ताकि हम खुद को जनरेट कर सकते हैं. रेड रोजेस वी नो दे आर अ सिंबल ऑफ लव. एक आपने वर्ड सुना होगा लैवेंडर. लैवेंडर के बहुत सारे परफ्यूम्स आते हैं, टैल्क्स आते हैं. व्हाट डज लैवेंडर इंडिकेट? लैवेंडर इंडिकेट करता है क्यों बनते हैं इनके टैल्क्स और परफ्यूम्स. बिकॉज इनका जो अरोमा है उसका एक सूदिंग इफेक्ट होता है. दे हैव अ वेरी गुड फ्रेगनेंस दैट गिव अ सूदिंग इफेक्ट. एंड द फोर्थ विच आई एम डील विद इज सनफ्लावर. एक बार एक स्पेनिश एक्सप्लोरर्स अमेरिका गए. वहाँ उन्होंने ये सनफ्लावर देखा एंड दे थॉट कि इट वॉज मेड ऑफ गोल्ड. डेफिनेटली दे वर रॉन्ग. वी नो इट्स नॉट मेड ऑफ गोल्ड. तो उसके बाद से सनफ्लावर क्या रिप्रेजेंट करता है? फॉल्स रिचेस. दिस वे एवरी फ्लावर हैज़ इट्स ओन सिग्निफिकेंस. आई हैव गिवन यू जस्ट अ फ्यू एग्जाम्पल्स. ओके, बाय, टेक केयर.